Hello students, today we will be going over 7.1. This is in your pink packet, bright pink, and it's on page 149. We are on 7.1, sample space and experimental probability. Our objective, I can identify the sample space of a situation. Vocabulary, the probability is the chance or the likelihood. I'm going to go with the easier word, so I'm going to put chance that something will happen. Experimental probability, the probability that is calculated using math formulas. Or experimental probability is a probability that is calculated when an actual experiment is performed. Theoretical probability, the probability that is calculated using math formulas. Sample space, the set of all possible outcomes or results of an experiment. Comparing experimental and theoretical probability. Okay? So we have theoretical and experimental outcomes. So, what's the probability of heads when flipping a coin? Okay? So, we know there are two sides to every coin. So the probability of getting heads when you flip the coin is either heads or tails. So if we have a coin right here, we can have tails or we can have heads. Okay, so theoretically, that would be 1 over 2. We have a half a chance of getting a head. So we put how many heads over how many possibilities. Now, probability of 6 on rolling a die. Well, on a dice, it has 6 sides, and only one of the sides has a 6. So that will be 1/6. Okay, the probability of 3 on a spinner with 5 different numbers. Well, if you have 5 different numbers and only one of them is a 3, then that is 1/5. The probability of blue when picking a cube from a bag of 6 blue and 6 red cubes. Well, you have 6, and I might move this up just a little bit. 6 blue out of how many total? 12 total cubes. And we simplify that, and we get 1/2. So you still have a half a chance there. Now, for our experimental probability, I'm going to go ahead and flip the coin 4 times and see what that is going to be. So here we have our coin. I'm going to flip it. Ooh. Okay. And that is tails. So I can put tails is 1. So not heads. I'll put tails over here. And I'll put heads in here. So I've gotten 1 tail. So I flip it again. And it's heads. So I can say 1 heads. Okay, so I'm going to flip it 2 more times. That one's tails. Now I'm going to flip it 1 more time. And that one's heads. So I actually ended up with 2 out of 4, and that will simplify to 1 over 2. Now, this won't always be that, because sometimes experimental outcome is different than your theoretical outcome. Like I could have gotten 1 head and 3 tails. I could have gotten 3 heads and 1 tail, so this will not always match this one here. Okay, so, and I don't think we're going to fill out the rest of that. We're just going to go ahead and move on. Okay, we know that probability can be written in 2 ways. Okay, it can be written as a percent, and if you write it as a percent, it's between 0 and 100. As an example would be maybe 25% or 1/4 of the time. That's an example there. As a fraction, it's going to be between 0 and 1, so that would be like 1/4. Like 1 in 4 chance of doing something. So that's what we can determine whether we want it percent as a fraction. Next, part 3, number 1 on page 149. A 6-sided die is rolled 50 times. The number 4 appears 18 times. What is the experimental probability of getting a 4? Well, how many total did we get? We got 18 times out of how many total? 18 out of 50. And we're going to go ahead and simplify that. Let's see, we're going to take our calculator. Remember how you can put a fraction in there and it'll simplify it? So I can just put it in here. 18 ABC 50. And there you have it, 9/25. Okay, now if I say I want it in percent, I can go second, right here with the green button, second, and then down here with the arrow, and that'll change it to decimal, and we move it 2 places to the right to get percent. So that way, it'll be 36%. Okay. All right, go ahead and go on to the next page, page 150. And we're going to jump down to number 1 where it says practice. Give the sample space for each event. Drawing a marble from a bag. The bag contains 3 red, 4 green, 2 blue, 5 purple, and 6 yellow marbles. So we need to put what the sample space for each event. So basically what we need to do is say what are all the possible outcomes for that. Okay, so we could have red, so go ahead and put red. We have 6 different colors? So a sample space is just anything that it could be. You could get a red one, so we write red. You could get a green one, we write green. We could get blue, okay, and then we could also get purple, orange, and yellow. So these are all the possible outcomes for that event. Okay, so that's your sample space. Okay, you can do the rest of this, students. You rock.